Should we start? Hopefully people will come. Beginning on page 2, the Heart Sutra in English. Thus I have heard. At one time, the Blessed One was dwelling in the royal domain of Vulture Peak Mountain, with a great gathering of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the samadhi of the many aspects of phenomena called profound occurrence. At the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, looking at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, saw the 5 skandhas in their natural emptiness. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, "How should the son of the lineage train who wishes to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom?" Thus he spoke, and the noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva answered the Venerable Shariputra with these words: "Shariputra, those men and women of the lineage who wish to follow the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look at it like this. The 5 skandhas should be seen purely in their natural emptiness. Form is empty, emptiness is form. Emptiness is not other than form. Form also is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, recognition, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are emptiness, and having no characteristics, they are unborn and unceasing. They are not impure or pure. They neither decrease nor increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no recognition, no compositional factors, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no sensation, no phenomena. There is no quality of sight and so on until no quality of mind and no quality of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no exhaustion of ignorance, and so on up to no old age and death, and no exhaustion of old age and death. In the same way, there is no suffering, no origin, no ending, and no path. No wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide by means of the profound perfection of wisdom. And since their minds have no obscurations, they have no fear. Transcending falsity, they attain nirvana. All the Buddhas who dwell in the 3 times have relied upon the perfection of wisdom, and have become true and complete Buddhas of unsurpassable, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra of the profound perfection of wisdom, the mantra of insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra which calms all suffering should be known as truth, for it is not deceptive. The mantra of the perfection of wisdom is proclaimed. Teata om gate gate paragate parasamgate bodhi soha. Shariputra, this is how a Bodhisattva Mahasattva should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and said to the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, noble Avalokiteshvara, that he had spoken well. Well done, O son of the lineage, it is so. O son of the lineage, since it is just so, the profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced just as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will also rejoice. When the Blessed One has said this, the Venerable Shariputra and noble Avalokiteshvara Bodhisattva Mahasattva, and the entire gathering, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, rejoice to praise the words of the Blessed One. Lamadam Gampo
Jota Juna Juni Juni Dalo Nise Jambe Yana Arabazanagi Om Arabazanagi Om Arabazanagi
Say then, Juki.
Chiravadiji Darvadimu Mabarasani Kadantiju Yulu Tobayi
Continuing on page 18 with the Shrit Mandala offering, 16 the Shrit Mandala offering. Saji Puki
Choye Medoran Riraliye Nide Jimani Sanje Yindo Mide Purvaye Roge Nanda Yina Cheparayo
Jetsu Lama
Tamba Chena Je Chuga Kala Chinze Chutrini Cheda Sambe Duje Zemala Zaji Juji Chaba Vatu So
Yadam Guru
Rena Mera Lagane Atayami
Continuing on page 22, the refuge prayer. Sanjay Chodang
Soje Chonala Janju Bardu Dani Chosuji Dage Juji Jive Sonamji Jola Pejira Sanje Jobanayo
Sanjay
Shona Soje Chonala Janju Bardu Dani Chosuji Dage Juji Jive Sonamji Jola Pejira Sanje Jobanayo
Sanjay
Chodang Soje Chonala Janju Bardu Dani Chosuji Dagi Juji Jibe Sonamji Lola Benjire Sanji Rupanayo Mianang Dani Tsangde Shongi Tsangde Dagi Lutang Mojunang Gyo Tuzun Jebang Sije Gula Tangwa Tang Tesong Taba Pyo Urs Tegi Noni Da Sije Gula Lutang Longju Tangwa Geza Tangwa Tesong Kode Nindu Ji Sunsi Bikuje Nindu Ji Sunsi Bikuje Da Lutang Musu Tangwa Tang Anu Musu Tang Tuya Ki Tang Tuya Ji Yui Cheba Mulia Tong Sen Peya Tena Ji Longju Ina Ya Longju Musu Yen Tangwa Wang Tanda Musu Yen Tangwa To Ina Ya Musu Maang Bari Ya Musu Yen Ya Tangma Mibe Tani Tang Tuya Ji Yui Chedo Tanda Ni Tong Sen Pe Ni Tong Sen Jang Ya Geza Ina Tena Ji Ji Rangi Sabe Geza Yana Rang Yen Ge Sabe Geza Musu Yen Tangwa Tanda Musu Tangma To Ina En Maang Bari Musu Tang Tuya Ji Yui Chedo En Tanda Ni Tong Sen Pe Ni Jongdara Jia Kechunga Tanda Jire Jodang Da Lu Tangi Sayade Musu Tadi Wadu Lu Sayade Ko Tanda Musu Mu Tongde Tanda Jire Anda Longju Sayade Soso Rama Jia Jin Jino Longju Tuso Jie Da Geza Sayade Geza La Rang Sabe Geza Tang Ani Yang Sabe Geza Da Kana Rang Yang Sabe Geza Tanda Re Jadang Maruzo Tsendi Sabe Geza Yore Jiwa Ngami Na Sabe Geza Yore Jadang Jiwa La Tang Meba Yiso Tang Ani Jiwa Mambu Jirina Ya Ani Soso Geza Mambu Sa Yore Pena Tanda Maruzo Mei Ten Tanda Ji Neba Kurang Geza Ka Tara Teni Chungma Ji Sungu Yore Nambi Shuwa Nani Ali Jir Mei Ten Neka Wo Tena Ni Entira Ji Chui Jinga Ki Ten Hajang Neka Wo Woto Danjo Neka Tsira Lomi Pesa Tana Ju Nambi Shuwa Nani Sumbi Karaya Tawa Jitan Juba Chua Siya Tena Ki Sungu Yore Jazan Tawa Jitan Juba Chua Tsami Ki Tende Ana Hajang Ki Juyu Gani Neka Wo 배우고는 내가 모유고는 내가 어떠송을 제가 나눠서 다다 아니 매 때는 다지 내가 돼요. 그래서 아무 상황 어떤지 내에서도 내 내발라 아니 기타와 무쇠지 못한 마소와라 아니 지비체가 왔는데 지금 도요요 말는데 이제 제왕하면 나서는 무속에서 뭐 사요래 엔진디오는 제와이네 소소 제 세대단 세메 아드날이야 개와 체중마도 뭐 사요로 제가 그거에 다 되는 사람 계산돼 시행해야 당야 시행 당스네 라빙 제약이야 말때 시행체도 뭐야 어떠세요? 소소 사람 계산돼 틀었더니 시행 진내면봐 용야 체력도 용야 대나히 로 추스 초토야지 세라 바체면봐 어디나 다반다 제 노르노지 가르지 풍바이네 엔터소데 풍바를 세워요 쇼스네 계산돼 틀었더니 드라이샤네 무슨 거 모두는 마마도이네 엔단다 제 동생 배야 어디나기 자야데 기침거래 다데인도 다게 류다모주 알아 다게 류다모주 당 기와도 손제바나 세지거라 당와 당 세다가다 류다모주 계산소 아니 세지거라 당와 거든 대신 이제 수화서 같이 다데 쇼라마 아니 수화 거든 쇼야 되네
We have briefly covered the verse 4 during our previous sessions.
Is your mic live?
It is on with copy.
야다 야다
Do it. Okay, sorry. Yeah. 谢谢给这个上面。Okay, is that okay? You can hear that. We have covered this verse 4 and went through a brief explanations of this verse 4 last several sessions. It's about giving away to all sentient beings your body, your positions, your good gain in the past, present, and future, and protecting, purifying, and enhancing this. So, as we discussed on what is meant by, giving away all sentient beings to your body, that we talked about earlier, during our previous sessions. If one is unable to give away one's body at this time, certainly one may not be able to do this because we are initial practitioners. So therefore, in order for one to carry out such practice, one should first engage in practicing mentally of giving one's body. That is what we talked during our previous sessions. And try to practice and meditate on perfecting one's motivations of giving one's body to others. And then next, we talked about one's positions or resources that one has. If it's possible, one can give away the resources that belongs to oneself. If that is not possible, one should wholeheartedly engage in the practice mentally to giving away your positions to others. And when you really become familiarized with such practice, giving away one's position to others mentally, and this will then lead to to give away one's position to others, an actual way of giving away to one's position to others without any sense of stinginess or miserliness. So those are the practice that is required for perfecting one's practice of generosities. Then the last one is giving away one's root of virtue. And in here it says good gained in the past, present, and future, which is the virtue, or one's merit, in other words. So when it comes to the merit, it is unlike the body and resources. Because the body and resources, that one can see it, one can experience it right away in whatever that belongs to us, including one's body and resources. It is something that is more objective. We understand that. But when it comes to the giving away virtue or giving away one's merits, it is somewhat little abstract. It is not something that is visible to us. However, we have accumulated merits in the past, in the past countless lifetimes, because our life is countless, it's beginningless. So therefore, we have engaged in a virtuous deed, which in result, which enables one to accumulate merits. So it is because of that our good merits or the good gain or the virtue that we are able to have this fortunate rebirth as a human beings. According to Dharma, the taking rebirth as a human being is something that is a result of virtue or result of one's merits. And taking a human rebirth is not something that happens randomly, nor it coming into being without causelessly. Its cause, the primary cause of taking rebirth as a human being is merits. One's virtuous deed that enables us to accumulate merits, which will become a cause to take a rebirth as human beings. And particularly, not only just taking a rebirth as human beings, but to be able to encounter a Dharma or encounter the qualified and authentic teacher who teaches us the spiritual practice. So therefore, according to Dharma, that's the difficulty of finding such a rebirth as set up as three different ways in which we don't know the three different ways of difficulties of finding rebirths. One by example, and one by nature, and one by the cause. The difficult to take a rebirth is the cause. It requires a positive cause to take a rebirth. And there's many different examples of how difficult it is to find, take a human rebirth. And then by nature, it's difficult. So, so here, when we talk about not only just taking a rebirth as a human being, but as a human being characterized by the 8 leisure and 10 endowments. So those are the quality that constitutes the precious human rebirth, which is not easy to find. So in order to have such, characterized human rebirth, which requires a positive cause. And similarly, that at this time that we have found, though it is difficult to, take a rebirth as human beings, we have found at this time, without any defects of faculty, with the complete limbs and so on, are all the result of one's past good deeds. So therefore, one should think about all those merits and dedicate one's merits towards all other sentient beings. It's a way of giving away one's merits of past, future, and present.
다른 쇼하노냐 기와 주선 제반나서 인도 기와 주선 제반나서 저단 기와 주선 제반나서 야가데 기와데 그런데 지금 다른 것도 시유도 제와이나 저단 쇼하노냐 기와 세데 기와다 마기와 세노다 롱도 때마까기 대와치 지르스네 바로지 tanajilago reta dura tsokaleya lungdu tema kaashi dewa chichi jirusne baas giwe tsini nos tana shawara choda giwa siyate duchi jire tabada matawa nini mataba jire choda duchi dumachi nini duchi chu jire ta duchi chu nani zushiba dimi duchi songa nani peche dimi duchi kongli dyogore tadane yu giwa siyade nipa ruchi ko nipa ruchi peche nimara chadang yana chawa zambuchi o tanachi ko deju chungi ki nipa tanaga chawa zambuchi raya gita siyade giwa siyade mungu tuwa yamachi mare labi rin tsuwa yamachi mare 저한테 이런 것을 넣어야 개화세대 가는 중 이나서서 또 시작하고 진도와 상담이 그래 내가 가는 이나서 또 sembrare 주사명을 써야지 그러다고 자와서지 자와지 니바지 들으래 저도 자와 zambo 들을 때니 리비데지 주는 거로 먼저 제가 론도 때마까기 대화 계지 리스네 봐서 거기와 있는 대화 계비 잡게 요 말이 저 게자 건조인 정도는 뭐 요거를 얘네고 말로나 때 리비데지 제거로 대화 제거로 때도 그래서 개와 두서 제반도 아니면 개와고 개와세야 남이셔나 가는 샤워나 아니 세니로 보시는 론도 때마까기 대화 계지 리스네 봐서 tana shawarda pa mwante chendu karaya ane gewa siyade chawa tara chawa zambo da chawa memba tani chawa lunga ten yu chaware jazan chawa zambo chi chawa zambo siyade kandu chela kurna ane rangli dejuk tun pra chibi chawa chiraya ane chawa zambo pena gewa tusan cheba na siyade 제즈비기 트렌드와 사라가지 제즈마치 되서 니비 되어 다다이 마음이 되어서네 소소게 아니 자와 zamboju 드즈미 기와치 제데인데 자와 zambo들 때니 마음을 리뷰하는 데주 요거야봐 나인데 저 기와세데 자와 zambo치 아니 데주 드르즈비기 아니 니바치 어디래지야 gewas ni mutchina pindumya watenajere dende musosoge ene sabe sosoge ene rubi geza teso ene rangi chidu rangi bichida tamayiba rada rangi pinyi deda che rangi ene jiwa yuki ko chonso tang, jiga tatsam cha tang ma yinba, sije kwa la sije yungzo, nga mei chi de jiwa ya ma yinba. Ta nga rung zon di zambal ling ang de chi de ling chi de zambal ling na ni, zambal ling na ta ma tang, tundro ka ri mongba shu ju ro, ten ma zede nunu ro, tundro ka ri aja mongba ro, ten janzo na ya basi mongba ro ta, tang me ro. Che zang, kanda zambal ling ki, ling de do da de kang la yubi ki, ane kangza namdada sanje, sanji kapi, sanje inchi ja tamji ki chedo, ane to tangi yin sayaki. Taga tiba chimbo chuji je yung, sambo tiba chimbo ki shong yin tiba chimbo shong na ya, rang li yubi mupo, ya daya yin na kari na, sanje tamji sayade, mali rang li re. Sanje tamji muyo da maji pala, ane tiba chimbo ki, pake, tiba chimbo yin da mayi ki yuasa ki, chanchu ki sayade, jesa yo mare. Temo que te muere, ni si mo por jesa yo mare. Jesa se ya tam jesa ya de. Ta de te ba chimbi shuang ge. Na mo te ba chimbi chu jing ka da jing mo ni. Mo se ya tam je ma je ta mere. Jesa se je ko na ta ma se. Jesa de de so so ge. Cha wa sam bo de. Ge wa de. Ane de ju tu ma de be. De ju chun je ge de ni ba sam bo de. Ane se ya tam je ya. Tang ge yin se ya.
So here it's and your good gain in the past, present, and future. Here, it's talking about one's merits, the merits that one has gained, one has gained in the past, present, and future. So, as we talked about earlier, when it comes to the merit, it's something it's not easy to understand. But according to Dharma, the rough definition or the meaning of the virtue or the virtue is that which give rise to happiness. That is said to be the virtue. So the cause of the virtue is cause of the merit is the virtuous actions. It is the positive actions or the wholesome actions. As a result of one's wholesome actions, that give rise to some kind of, a potential. It's a form of potency which has the power to give rise to happiness. That is what is meant by the merits. So merit is also belongs to the category of impermanence again here. Permanent impermanence. So this belongs to the category of impermanence. And out of different categories of impermanence, it belongs to the impermanent nor form, neither consciousness. Impermanence that is nor form, neither consciousness. The merits of the virtue is not something that is either form or consciousness. It doesn't belong to this two, but it's neither of these two. So, if one engages in the wholesome deeds, and the very wholesome deed that one engages will leave a potency of experiencing happiness, in other words. So here again, if one engages in wholesome deeds, it is necessary, the question is, it is necessarily if a person experiences happiness. That is, however, is not so. Even though one may engages in very good deeds or wholesome deeds, helping others, engaging in practice of generosity and so forth, you have engaged in these positive deeds, and you already have some potency that give rise to happiness. But before ripening of that potency, and there's again possibility that your process of giving rise to the actual fruition of this verse of merits can be interrupted by negative thoughts and emotions. For instance, one may have engaged in very good deeds, wholesome deeds, and you have left a very positive potency within one's continue. Yet at the same time, suddenly you get angry towards someone. The very force of anger that can actually destroy the potency of the virtue. So, so therefore, if one's virtue or one's merit is not actually destroyed by this negative thoughts and emotions, then suddenly one's wholesome deeds can give rise to its actual result of happiness, which will be experienced by the individual who actually engage in positive deeds or wholesome deeds. So now, when we talk about giving away all those merits, good gain to all other beings, we're not talking about a few sentient beings, nor we're talking about only human beings. We're talking about entire sentient beings, including animals and so forth, without exceptions. Imagining that giving away all those, which is a very powerful practice actually. It really gives us that, mature our mind and, strengthen one's practice of compassion and so on. When one is able to imagine that all those good deeds that I may have engaged in the past, present, and future, may all the merits that I have accumulated by that means, may I give away all this to entire sentient beings without exceptions, without any discriminations, would really mature our mind. So, so therefore, not only again here the beings of this world alone. There are many different universal systems, but there are many beings who are undergoing sufferings. So try to give away this all one's virtue to all those beings. Which is very important, because without one's practice, without motivation of benefiting all sentient beings, one's practice will not become a Mahayana practice, right? The Mahayana practice must be done in conjunction with the motivation of benefiting all other sentient beings, because to become one's practice, Mahayana practice, depending upon whether one's practice is imputed by the motivation of bodhicitta. So when it comes to the bodhicitta is to genuine aspiration and enlightenment for the benefit of all other beings. So therefore, sentient beings would be the core object of one's own practice as a Mahayana practitioner. So, so all those, the virtuous deed, the wholesome deed I may have done in the past, and potency that is produced by this wholesome deeds, may I dedicate to all other beings without exceptions. That is what is meant by giving away one's good gain or merits of the 3 times.
제대로 개와데 두비글다 개와 두야데 다소소소게 자와서부터 두글와데 두야데 에 야나 류토데 두야레 야나 마토데 두야레 야나 이역토데 두야레 제가 다랑 유디야데 류마 야손데 제가 자와서부터 두야데 류마 야손토데 두글레 자왕이 바지 서레다 개와 두야데 류마 야손토데 개와 두글레 마게와 자와데 류마 야손토데 마게와 제고요 사디인데 류고니 이 자와서부터 두야다 개와 두데 아니 류 들어가지 제가 오늘 류도와서 삼보 얘는 류 무조집에 가래야 여기집에 가래야 시는 문제가지 돈이 여기집도 하고 그래서 제가 보여래 소소 류도 여기집한테 얘는 폐미 좀 물어줘야 지금 돈이 류도 여기집도 해봐요 제가 말도 류도 여기집에 가래야 아니 지금 몇십 받아 밤에 왕기 망보지야 아니 뇌제로 보여래 받은 로비 그래지 감바올이야 베시 망보세야 처음에 되니 감바유 라바유 되는 로비 그래야 말아서 먹고 더 두야기 선지 망보를 먹고 더 먹는 선지 망보를 되나야 뇌 먹고 포되고 열에 말아서 더 먹고 같은데 제가 내일도 류 배제다야데 시라 제 폐미죠 폐미 배제지 나도야 배제 제고야다 아니 얘야 제 나주하고 대야다 문다다 이제 시야 지방에 생 거기 제 가서 제도야 되는 거야 제 나주 대야는 문다다 이제 지방 여러 그게요 문다도 그러는데 나만을 그러는데 나주 대야는 도와줘서 류 나주 대다 이제 근데 얘네 팬바지 때도 계신 거 찍으래 류도네 근데 소소 류 나주 대다 이제 얘네 지금 가서 지야지 중이나 소소 류 요구 지야데 셴 팬베 근데 저기 누구는 다 류고니 아니 개와 두고래 자와서 뭐지 싸워래 자와들 때문에 소소래야 뭐가 되지 용을해 그냥 마도 안에 시간에 말주 집에 가래 피자시를 가래 아니 생명보 아니 저주보다 생명보서 그러와 생명보 아니 만년보 어떻게 메시지 그래 피자시를 가래 저주배 양보 만주배 양보 만년보 어디로든지 그런게 계속 고용들이 괜찮은데 여기 되게 깨고 와서 이제 소소를 집에 가서 내대고 써라. 근데 여기 계속 시험에 배고주용이 소소를 집에 그 간에 시험에 소소를 제랑도게 내인 내인 써라. 어떤 여기 마그 마주치에 도야를 메시지 거래. 내내 중에나 소소 마우터네 자서 뭐지 보고요래. 자와 들었더니 뭐 말하느냐. 제가 대치 도고 요래. 근데 저한테 얘래. 생각되니 아는 시행해지 차도 대세라서 봐 돈주라서 내가 매배 돈이 아니 그런 거 답에 아니 얘네야 중간에 제 얘네랑 얘네 저랑 매사서니 어도지네 라니 지도 그거 그지고 많은 지도 이렇게 그지 사나시게 근데 나니 꽤내 매다 이제라서 받아봐 있어나시 어도지네 로이 돈이 소소게 산업담에 그래야 연대지 요야다 세제단이 산지 고방 토야다 때도 돼야 토야 되게 많아야 돼야다 소소 되게 요라제 나서베 누가야 나야 어떤 나고야 기초를 제가 되는 로이도 되게 요야는 안 명하게 저한테 거대 지수 너다지 토야지 마 근데 이제 사람들이 주고 도와이나 아니 영화 예성 못하네 자와서 뭐지 부유를 거래야 아니 대자와서 뭐 데이터라든 소설이야 근데지 이거 용도야 어떤 데지 뭐 제가 말로 그래야 돼요 영화 예성 못하네 이렇게 어두다. 누디로 지나고 또 그래.
So when speaking about engaging in positive deeds or the wholesome deeds or the virtuous deeds, it is not only the deed, virtuous deed is not only limited to one's physical actions, but as we're talking about the wholesome deeds of the body, spirit, and mind. So all this, whether one is able to perfect one's practice or one's deeds of body, speech, and mind into virtuous deeds is again the most important is the mind or the motivation. So first of all, let's talk about what is meant by the virtuous deed of body, the physical virtuous deed. The virtuous deed of body here, that even the movement of one's body should not be harmful to others. As a practitioner, one should try to benefit the movement of one's body to others. If one is unable to benefit and help or offer one's assistance to others through the movement of one's body, one should at least refrain from harming others. That is a very important part of one's bodily actions. Because most of the time, when we move our body, we move carelessly. We don't think of that. We're not paying much attention to it. It is because of our carelessness. We're actually hurting a lot of other beings, such as when we are walking, accidentally, we kill countless beings, such as insects and so on. And then also according to Dharma, when we're walking, if we walk carelessly, there are many other beings who are formless. This is also again, we are hurting them by being so careless, engaging in careless movement of one's body. There are many beings who are something that is visible to us, and there are beings who are not visible to us. And not only that, but also, the way we look at others. Our physical appearance. There's, sometimes when we look at others very viciously due to some kind of characteristic of that individual. So you may dislike that person and you have a very dirty look towards this person. This should not happen to us as practitioners. Even one's physical appearance should always maintain a positive physical appearance that anyone who looked at oneself can benefit just by physical appearance. That doesn't mean that you have to be a very attractive body or you have to be very beautiful and handsome and so on, but rather by maintaining your positive gesture of physical body can benefit others because it makes people happy. That's benefiting others. So this is what we should be doing, what we should be doing. And just by your bodily actions, if someone become unhappy, then we are not accumulating mirrors to the body. So therefore, if one is able to maintain such a positive physical movement of the bodily action, then one can accumulate merits through body, which will be experienced as a result by oneself. And then when it comes to the next is the virtue of speech, the virtuous speech, in other words. Virtuous speech is that something you should talk positive about others, should not indulge in any kind of, uh, harsh words, and something that your words become a schism or creating a disharmony among the families, societies, even between two good friends and so on. And always try to speak to others with respect. Not just pretending to be respectful, but from the depth of one's heart. Think about all other beings are worthy of respect. They are worthy of honors. So therefore, if one is able to maintain such a way of living in our day-to-day life, one will be the most happiest person in this world. Because without maintaining these positive thoughts within us, we ourselves, we ourselves is the one that tortures us, making us unhappy. If possible, whenever one speaks, one should speak of something that is what is good to be abandoned and what is good uh, to be achieved or accomplished in terms of one's practice and abandonment and achievement, in other words. So with this kind of practice, then again, one will accumulate the merits through one's speech. And the main driving force for accumulating merits through body and speech is that depends on one's mind here. It's a very important. So whenever we know that if there's something that negative thoughts are taking place, or it's just actually, taking a momentum of this negative thoughts, one should try to recognize it and get rid of that. This is how we accumulate merits through mind, sorry. And then try one's best to not let one's mind overpowered by this negative thoughts of anger, hatred, jealousy, sense of competitiveness, and so on, and looking others and humiliating others mentally. But rather, one should always, cultivate this resolute intention or the pure intentions, and with this, one will be able to maintain lower seat. It says lower seat means one will not be, overpowered by the pride and arrogance. So therefore, we find in the texts of the revealing the path to enlightenment, revealing the path in the Lama Choa, it says, cherishing of oneself is the gateway to all this torment or the misfortune. And similarly, we find in the 8 stanzas of the mind training ways is one should always remain lower than others, what it says. It is not unjustified statement. It has a really authentic reasoning behind those statements. So if one is able to maintain such motivations, one is maintaining such a positive way of thinking, a positive mind, then one's actions of the body and speech suddenly will become a positive, which is virtuous. And it is as a result of accumulating virtues through body, speech, and mind, one will then gain a positive experience.
다 대손 답을 배워 대손 답을 배워서 어디네도 소소를 담아줘 계산도 저기 아니 이해는 다양 치도 개치고 이소서 아니 여보 소모를 답을 잡으래서 다 송조지 그래 대소소를 예배 뢰다 소소를 예배 lon주다 계산도 저 아니 이해는 다양 이소서 안데 여보 소모를 근데 나시 대소대 답을 제고 그래 근데 뭐 배워 제고 그래 또 송도와 대손 답을 배워서
So then it says, it is for this purpose that one should protect one's body, one's resource, and the good gain of 3 times, and protecting, which is purifying and enhancing.
the words the Sinjanamji Lonji Lulas was so much as Chadan Sinjanamji Lonji Lulas was so much as Judicia war. That Luda Lonji gave that to the and soon the Dapa Jelly Karajabrina Sinjanamji Lonji Acheto. Yes, that's also Chedamaya Sinjanamji and the Lonji Cheto and the Luda Lonji gave that to the Yabosumores or those more.
So therefore it says the body, and the next verse is verse 5, which is the body and so on are given for the use of sentient beings. Now it talks about the reason why we have to protect one's body, purify and enhance. It's because as a Mahayana practitioner, one's protection of one's body is not just mere benefiting oneself, but the very purpose of protecting one's body is to benefit other sentient beings, and it is for the use of other sentient beings, body resource, and our good gain of 3 times. So,
제가 세제는 저 론지 처리해서 뭐 세제는 저 론지 체도 아니 류라 소바도 류다 소련으로다 마다 얘는 론지다 게다 또는 요지 제가 세제는 저 론지 처리해서 론지다 소소 류디 야고 손고 그래서 류디 야고 다고 그래서 소소 류디 다고 제야 돼 뭐 세제는 저 론지 체도 다고 그래서 소소 데모 담고 세르고 내가 땅에 있는 소소 나머지 대한 많이 봐 세제 담지기 되네 론지 체도 아니 르스 야고 소문다고 그래서 제가 네 소소기 단대기 르딘 데한테 지원은 소소 르딘 데 도와니 현재 자체를 보통 요이나 이제 자체를 보통 자주중마도 보통 요서 그래 가다야 소소를 르덴데 되니 이제는 배도지 또 누나 소소 르덴데 가세 주리고 네트워크 뜻도 이제는 배도지 또요 근데 소소 트레이 집에 거래 재미주 집에 거래 가다자 도대체 도대 말한 되고 주라잖아. 나체를 되라잖아. 상 소소하게 챈데야. 젤리는 뭐 주고 그래서 됐어. 뭐서 뭐에 맞게 되네요. 얘는 말한 게 렌디 되네. 시안이야 지 배도 가라간다. 소리 들어도 루트고. 근데 이제 내 뇌에 주주 보지 소도 이나 엔티로기 시안이야. 배도 주주 보지 루트고래. 시행이 내 뇌에 배정하지 용거리네 이제 그냥 뇌에 주주 보지 소야 제도 질 최대한게 자신을 세세야 이나라 재미 주제가 이나라 카질이야 소 트리 카질이야 무슨 대하게 메시지야 이나라 오 대하게 어디 리뷰 먹어 줘요가 또 상마대 아니 뭐인데 되게 치도 나와 있나 하나 아장이 자와 상호 기가 지고 주고 도요레스
So it is through this body, this body of human being's body, can benefit. We can make a tremendous contribution to sentient beings, all sentient beings. And there are beings who may be able to do a very extensive, offer extensive assistance for the help or the benefit others. There are there are beings who may not be able to do that much, but they can benefit other beings. So whether one is able to do extensively or even a little bit, however we are, whatsoever that we are actually benefiting others. So it is for this purpose, says protection of one's body is something that is very important. Protecting one's body is not just mere, sustenance of one's own life or, having one's own longevities for one's own, only solely for one's own purpose. The protecting one's body is for the benefit of all of the sentient beings. When we are taking care of our health, even when we're going to see, when we are, visiting clinics, seeing one's family physician or doctors. As a practitioner, my very purpose of being here is to be a healthy body to benefit other beings. If one is able to have such motivations, your very purpose of your very, every movement of your body can become a virtuous actions. So one should not think of just solely the reason of my purpose of coming to visiting clinic is to check my own health, my own, overcome my own sickness and my own longevity. This should not be thinking, which we are at this point. Who will think of others when we're going to clinics and seeing physicians? I don't think that none of us, even including myself, when visiting clinics, so we just think of that something is wrong with my body, I need to cure this, sickness or whatever. But this is not suggested for the practitioners of the Mahayana. Think of that. I'm here to see my doctor, to examine my body. Certainly, it is to benefit myself, but also I would think of to benefiting other beings. And not solely for my own purpose, but purpose of other sentient beings. So if one should think of it in this way. So if one is able to sustain one's lifespan by taking care of one's body, one will have a long life. With long life, one can, study and practice more Dharma, one can benefit more, one can benefit sentient beings even more. So therefore, one's sustenance of one's, this lifespan is not just to benefit oneself, but to benefit of all other sentient beings. So if one is able to engage in such a practice, one will gain as a great benefits. So therefore, always think of when we talk about protecting one's body, taking care of one's health, one should always think of other sentient beings for the purpose of other sentient beings.
我你到底呢？朝云呢？
Let's see, can we set any questions? Otherwise, you'll sit here, go through this.
I'll ask a question. Would it be appropriate at the time of one's death to consider one's dying as an act of giving one's body for others? If one's body must be useful to others when you discard it, can that still be an act of giving one's body for other people? That's
The church did it, for sure. This was a shooting level, the Siksa Samuccaya, so the Pungushwa, the Anjika, Chiklu Tamek, then the Yamlink, Kondoya, Sugar Research, Yamlin Sugar Research, she got the Susan Subudi Bata, Ajil, Tame and Jik, than the dinner, Lee Tamek Konya, the best, this one.
是说是现在的这个绿的，绿那个泡子主要个没是节约的，说是马新贵的，绿个平板当的，俺现在的节的说是绿的，家里这个经济难着，伢的经济难着，那没说呢呢，节是那个等着今天来了票等着要的，刚大讲马新贵的说是绿么呢，东西的挂的。 在当时的嘛，中医呢，那现在的这里呀，家长吃了说的这个那样，我说当时的面呢，那就东北、这边、这边下回嘛，这边是当时了哇，但是马新贵呢，说在这里觉得俺现在写的，现在的这里我绿的，白里呢绿的加了这个嘞，加回了这个嘞，马好加回了这个嘞，开始的家里面那个开一样，伢了说，在这个月里，3个月的月里，在那边这3个月里，那样去到呢，节省路在那月碰死路呢，碰死路也这样，碰不的，前几年呢，那长做了，8个月了，就是2百里，就在那有的，说是马新贵呢，前一定过来，说是6个，当时是8个月，那当时就别找人呢。 那现在这里说的，这个是哪做呢？那现在就把讲出来。
Certainly, it can be a part of giving one's body when one is after one's death, one's body. However, this should be, planned ahead of time before one's death. One should think of after my passing away, and to just let others know that whoever was one's relative or whoever is looking after you, whoever is in your surrounding, or you, someone whom you trust, so you can just let them know that let's just give away my body either to the birds or fish or whatever, then it depends on one's own tradition. There are different ways of going to the funeral service in different traditions. In Tibet, we have many different ways, like sky burial. Sometimes we, I don't know what the specific name in English is called. We give it to the water. We just put everything, the bodies will be parted. given to the fish. And then we also have a tradition of burying our body, uh, beneath the earth and soil. This is what we do. And then also we have elaborate funeral service is fire puja, with the fire puja, which all would once the the teachers and the masters were invited to perform this fire puja will then bless this body, the deceased body, and blessed and purified. And this will then be transformed into nectar and making offering to the deities and so forth. So certainly, if one is able to do this, then this is all part of giving one's body to others. But so it just need to be, planned ahead of time.
제가 먼저 마지막에 신시해야 돼. 시대의 류대 소속이 지질 마다지 남의 지샤마다 소속 시대의 류대 로디나 이해야 제들의 땅고 소속 그런 교회는 제가 된대요 되지. 제가 답변이야 로디 작을 때 주요래. 제가 그냥 통하게 되더라고요. 이제 소속인데 약물이 통되고요. 생애 건강에 해마가 땅이면 맞대배 건들 류대 잘 증거래. 제가 사상사 저거를 지도서 되는 지래야 고용하게 종소소게 되니 로 잘돼서 내주어야 되래야 또 최서 그래 또 사서 그래. 제가 대가는 다동조들이야 기로래. 여기는 여기 걸려서 그래. 들리가 지금 고 또대서 주요래. 로글리가 지금 고요 주요 또대서 주요래. 근데 이 강에서 그래 부모들 때가마 사가마 자니더니 차단 따래 동안에 고 저도 요래 니스다 따래 니스다 요래. 근데 부모게 걔를 타바다네 대 도와주고 지요래 들어가 다시 다마기는 한 자고도 야주 마트는 사이다 줄로로 데모트레이션도 뭐지 걔들 타바네 단달보다 어느 정도 참아마 저도 시야당 참아마 저마 샤샤고 대샤들 이제 대문이 자고도 레오를 나가네 거 나도 이 텔레네 자고도 사그래 또디 그렇게 주요리 잘 배워요래 잘 소쇼스네 미노다 만나게 배우는 것도 사그래 시야통을 자서 우르바통을 하되 그래 저통을나 근데 우르바하데 저도 담아들에 이제 가지고 자고서 바까네 아니 가지고 도드나 거거든요 요리 때는 근데 다리 우르바통만 시시만 따니만 시시요 소그래 대마소니 양주 때나네 잠바로 들었더니 양주 잘 지자 줘래 양주 지자 그래 되니 아주 도들 하데 요이나 되니 거데 kalidya kwani lebate tang go shba tang nu shba la ma tang de lebate tre da ma ya go ji ma shi shi so den zan do de lu ji de ji de ja ge zang zang ja sa sha wo le an de za na ja go de de ni ju re dal lebate da sa de da ma na kala zo be khine ji go de lo le ja da zang zang ja ji ja de jin be chen de do de ka ji ge tong na ya go ji ma de ji chu na de lo to ne sa da wa yin de so the Devi Karya Lude, Shana Jimatuba in there. So the Shetty Rode, and then Chata Sole, Pay Yahuji, Chiang, Lucita Yuri. So then I very in the Rambored.
So in Tibet, we have this mostly the most popular way of taking care of this dead body is sky burial. It's the most popular one, sky burial. So there here says it's most out of this very important is to have a motivations of giving away one's body after one's death to others were very, very beneficial because later or sooner we will die without a doubt. The death is always there. It is always with us. The death is not apart from us, it is with us. So therefore, if one is able to have this motivations, it's a very beneficial. It's in practice, very good practice for us. So in Tibet, we do this sky burial, and with the sky burial, that we're not, there's a designated place. What they call it? It's a cemetery in a very high mountains, clean and very high and pristine area where normally take their dead bodies and feed the vulture, normally the vultures. Not ordinary birds will not come there, but it's only the vultures. Vultures who know about that. And as soon as they see the Sangha members starting their chanting, and vultures will just, swarm. They will just, the numerous vultures will just come and land on that particular areas because they know that they can get something there. So over there, then there are several experienced people who normally how they can feed the vultures and taking the body apart, the dead body apart, and feeding the vultures. And they have their own knives and axe, and there are many different equipments that belongs to those experienced people. And they also have certain equipment that they can ground even bones, and there's no waste at all. They will not waste even one piece of bone of the individual, one piece of the bone of the dead body, in other words. So they will just, it cannot be again, cut the body like randomly, but there's a procedure, the proper procedures. While the sanghas are performing the pujas, and they will keep on, carrying out their own way of dismembering the body of the dead body. So, and once they are already, the vultures already fed all the flesh, part of the flesh, and the only thing that left is the bones. The bones will be, they have a stone grinder, and they will grind the bones into that and make it into powder and mix with sampa, the barley flour, and then give it to the birds. And the vulture will just go and finish it. And the final service of this in a scabbard is to feeding the birds the brain of the individual, brain of the dead bodies. They'll take out the brain, take out the skulls, and then take the brains out. Again, the brains will be mixed with barley flours and give it to the birds. And once the birds are fed with these brains, and they know that that's the end, and they will go away. They will not linger. This is, they already know that that's the end of the thing. That they will just go away. There will be no longer vultures will be seen nearby. They just fly away. So this is, the scabbard procedure in Tibet, and maybe this may not comfortable for many people, but this is what it is. What the most popular, popular.
Method.
Yeah, it's friendly service. It's performed in Tibet. Oh, sorry. So here now it says, he says, even though that one may not be able to give away one's body during one's lifetime, if one self is gone and if one is dead, then you're able to give away your body to others. This also benefits. It's part of giving.
So one has the intention, but someone else does the act.
그 수소 지난 무시권에 수소야지 굴로디요 그러봤어. 즉 수소에 시사비 지역이야 수소 수고디 집어다 이렇게 만들지 굴로지요 그러봤어. 근데 또 진በት 진지 진개인기티 가서 신사를 저지기 수소 동사 그러봤어. 그 페인근에 쓰는
내가 요거를 내가 소송문이 동계도 표현은 뭐 그게 되게 주는 내가 요거를 근데
So it ultimately benefits the deceased person because he or she already dedicated his or her body to feed other sentient beings. So even though all the process of giving away your body, dismembering the body, is carried out by the other individuals, but the individuals who pass away will get the most benefit.
소송문에서 소송하는 게 있지만 얘는 진주간에 제가 요래 표현치 주요래 마다 소소 동세 예비슈래 야 집에 잘해.
It will become a part of practice of generosity. Of course, there are differences. If you're actually giving away by yourself and you are letting others to give away, to give things to others, there's a difference in terms of benefits. However, overall it becomes a practice of generosity.
라니는 지야요 집에다 가요 소송문에서 소송하니까 지세대 현을 전도에는 표현치가 있습니다.
That is to say that if one is able to do it by oneself, even if you are giving something to somebody, instead of, letting, involvement of third person, if you can give away yourself, that has more benefit. Although it's a practice, it becomes a part of a practice of generosity, but the benefit that you gain is different.
Yes, I was thinking in terms of the negative karma of taking one's own life, that there's the intent, the action in the mind, and the completion of the action. Since there's death, the karma is not completed, and so one does not, as a result of that negative action, fully get the results of the act of killing oneself. So this in some ways is similar to that.
That
It's just positive instead of negative.
즉 기회적으로 근데 제외된 종의 주성 참시고 것이 기회적으로 양답시하냐 그다음에 이제 기회적으로 되고 종의 주성 세상 참시 종의 주성 참시고 그래서 늘 종의 주성 제가 참여해놨어요.
네, 나 용의주도 당월에 나 용의주도 좋아들어서 소통고 시세빈 질래야 풍부하디 신의 진대고 콜마 들어와 좋아들고 저리 들어와 당에서 소시세빈 질래야 풍부하디 아니 가르자에 들으면서 진도가 좀 거래 근데 좋아들어야 소소 가르고는 대진제들이 질래야 아니 이랑지 거래 이랑지서 그래다 지금 좀 소소하게 이랑지 거고 요래 근데 간들이 용의주도 모여서 조세를 질래야 이랑지에서 또 가보로 지라와 이 말이라도 가보라데 나도 또 가보기를 고주로 또 가보려와 이나야 저 소소문이 응원이 배봤다네 소소를 류대들 저기 당무스 저기 동문이 다 제로 인터넷에 체이디 네 근데 이제 토에 빼면서 야보래서 그래서 야보래서 근데 가고는 야지 완전 되게 그래. 무슨 바르트기 동보 트레디치 되는 무슨 그 동동 되게 이러지 되는 거는 이제 좀 그거야 말해. 아무리 소소하게 로그나네 트레디치 나셔는데 거래.
So as long as one has this motivation, very strong motivations of, for instance, giving away one's body after death, will actually, becomes preliminaries, or the motivational part is strongly completed. And not only that, but also as most of the school practitioners would always think about, before giving away their bodies, by able to think of their giving away their body to others after their death, they rejoiced in their own motivations, the very motivations of giving away this to others. And this will somewhat become a dedications. When we talk about, motivations, actual actions, and dedications, it should not be done after one's action is completed, but right from the beginning of one's motivations, cultivation of motivation, one can dedicate one's merits, whatever the virtues that can be accumulated. So therefore, we dedicate our merits of past, present, and future. When we talk about future, we have not yet done, but we dedicate. So what the virtues that will be accumulated, that virtues that will be accumulated in the future, and we assume that all those accumulated features, virtues, will dedicate others. So this is the same thing here. Although that you are no longer alive to dedicate or to do the actual actions, but you have right from the beginning the very strong of motivations of giving away this to others will become a very strong motivations. And then when your body is disembarked and dismembered and given away by others, but that is your own body. You are the one who had this body and you're giving away this to. This will become actual actions. And the dedication, though that you are no longer alive, but you are already somewhat dedicated right from the beginning. It is just so delightfully that you are wanting to do that. It is not just, if you have a doubt of whether I should give up or not giving away, or then you're just, you're struggling into yourself, then that's a different case. Other than that, it's actually, it completes all those three steps.
내일도 나중에 뱀바생 뱀바 빼기 좀 그래. 뱀바 당세 들어와. 빼기 좀 그래. 제가 라마 친구들 공부 도를 선보더니 라마 공부 도를 거래. 라미 투주 공부 도야 제도 되게 창조 다시 셔셔서게. 라미기 공부 도문이 책이 들어 가요바데. 아니 라마 공부 도를 지내들 루트와 지원에 라미 공부 도야. 투주 공부 도야 그도와. 제가 뱀바생 기침 거래. 소송 마시면이야. 아니 류트 된다는데라. 당고도 따나 빼야고도 단에 당토라지는 빼야고요 살아서 단하고 소소하게 되네 저를 따야다 당들에 당토이나 엔데 표현치 보여 봐서 이러다 어디다 쟤는 기들에 당토이는 따라 조인 게서서 아니 세제 다니기처럼 모아지는 어도지네 소소 마시면이 또 차이지 태봤다 와이나 아는 분이 가게 시세의 질이네 대단 틈이 네 pomozu tani tanto ina to jungju tena tsanglo re.
So it is crucial to have motivations. Strong motivation is very, very, it's essential because right from the beginning that one should know by knowing the benefits of giving away one's body to others, feeding animals, the benefits that one we can have out of that. When you know the benefits of giving away one's body, even after your death, it's a lifeless body that you're actually able to give away to others. By knowing, understanding the benefits of it, even though that one have not given up one's body at this time, but one should rejoice in having such motivations of giving others. And may my body that is to be given to others in the future benefit all beings. May this merits, may I dedicate all these merits to all other sentient beings. Right from now, one can do that. In our day-to-day life, one can remind oneself of doing this. It's very, very important.
Should we say the dedication first? Beginning on pages
No,
23 and
take these
24. Continuing with auspicious wishes on page 28. Dagi Saji Poki
Sanjay Shindu Mudu Pawai, Robert Nanda
Kewa Kundu
Yandalama Nandame Jeje Bela Manche, Sadhan Lanji Nelabzoni, Toje Chake Pawai Dosho,
Yadam Guru
Radamela Lakande Adaya Me.
Page 28. Jetsun Lame Kuse
Radeje Nagadjane Joju Jivana, Rosa Debe Drume Sasoji, Roye Bese Tado Ne Juruji,
Gangri Rawe
Koye Shingazu, Beda Dewa Malu Jurene, Chere Zewa Tete Jazui, Yabe Sete Badu De Juruji,
Champel Power
Cheta Jibana, Godo Sambo Dea Deye, Teta Guji Jesu Taluji, Giwa Deda Tamji Rato, Teso Jibe Jawa Tamji, Mwa Kana Chodo Mama, Nagi Kiwi Zawa Diguya, Sambo Juji Rato Mwaraji. Thank you.